and welcome to another edition of Lab Rats. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And today on Inside the Geek Studio, actually no, it is Lab Rats, your favorite podcast on the internet. And this is Biff, of course.
It is Biff.
Biff the cat, getting loads and loads of fan mail these days, getting a lot of attention.
Getting some hate mail from people who are not as fond of Biff's butt as Biff seems to be.
And we're talking to you, Carrie Holtzman. Enough of the hate mail about Biff's bum. Poor Biff. Anyway, so on today's show, we're going to show you a really cool little tool. It's actually kind of advanced. So for those of you that like beg for slightly more advanced things, we're sort of fulfilling on that wish today. We're going to cover HijackThis. Now that's a tool.
Hijack what now?
HijackThis.
That?
HijackThis.
This?
Your browser. So HijackThis is a tool that allows you to get rid of browser hijackers. When you get a flavor of spyware, can take over your web browser and force you to see the same web page over and over again. So HijackThis is a really cool tool that allows you to undo that, but it takes a little bit of know-how on how to use it. It's not a fire and forget kind of tool.
You know what? I've used HijackThis before.
Yes.
And, you know, I've looked through it and I'm pretty up on a lot of computer stuff, but parts of it kind of baffle me too.
Yeah.
It's pretty user-unfriendly in some ways.
It is. It's designed for the geeks.
It's designed for the geeks,
right.
Yes.
So we're going to show you how to use it, or if you can't be bothered with that, where to go to get more information. Okay?
Good.
Very good. All right, so on that note, we will be back after this message with HijackThis Demystified. Today on Lab Rats.
If a lab rat was the new Camtasia Studio 5,
Hello!
it would be the smartest,
Huh?
it would be more friendly,
You're a wiener!
and it would work well with others.
Nope, you're a wiener.
The new Camtasia Studio 5, screencasting software that's better than a lab rat. Download it at www.techsmith.com.
So, when was the last time your browser was hijacked?
It's been a while.
It's been a while?
It's been a while.
Yeah. It's actually one of those threats that is actually starting to diminish because Internet Explorer 7 has actually been engineered so that it deals with ActiveX controls a lot more safely. There's a protected mode in there now. Firefox, some patches been made. So you're seeing less and less of it, but it still occurs.
Well, full disclosure is that I've mostly been using the Mac for my day-to-day surfing, so I haven't been hijacked on the Mac. On the PC, when I was still using that, it happened a little bit more regularly, or it would try to.
Right.
Generally, a lot of this, hijacks and exploits like Trojans in the back, you can avoid a lot of them if you really know what you're doing, but in some cases, you have multiple users using the machine, like grandparents, kids, all of that. So sometimes it's unavoidable that you're going to have a problem at some point.
Right.
If you're the only person using your machine, maybe not so much. But anyways, if you've had this problem and it's, whether it's a browser or whether it's just generic, wacky advertising popping up on your machine, even if it doesn't appear to be in a browser, then this is where you go.
That's right. So HijackThis was a tool created by a Dutch guy called Merijin. I think his name was Merijin.
M-E-R-I-J-N, I believe.
I-J-N, yeah. And that was a while back. This is like several years, going back sort of 2004, 2005. He has actually since given up designing that tool. And he has actually sold the rights of HijackThis to Trend Micro, which of course is a for-profit company that makes the Trend Micro house call product, a variety of different anti-malware tools.
Yeah, I remember them from PCSIL and Antivirus. That was one of the first free ones that I had a chance to look at. Very
good. So you go to trendsecure.com. This is where you can get a copy of HijackThis, right, and download it for free. It's a relatively small download, and all you're going to do is download it onto your Windows machine and then run it, execute it. And let's just flip over to it because I actually have it running down here right now. So as you can see, it's a very simply designed screen, right? So you can approach this in two ways. There's actually two different ways that you can do it. One for super sophisticated, that you're going to go in and actually do the diagnostics yourself, and we'll show you how to do that in a minute. Or the other one where you're going to capture information about your system with all of the spyware infections sort of showing in a log, and create that log and actually show it to a geek on the web for further help.
Yeah, and even if you don't use this to its fullest and use it to help solve your own problems, then just getting that log in and of itself is worthwhile, because a lot of places on the web, if you go to a forum where you're looking for tech support, a lot of them will just tell you, go, you run hijack this, give me the log, and post that before I'll even try to diagnose your problem.
Yeah. So the geek's going to want you to do this anyway if you're going to get some help, free help. But so let's do that first. So it's just the first button on the actual menu. I'm going to say do a system scan, and then...
do you want to change the color scheme?
I know, Vista's crying again.
Really? Do tell.
Do a system scan is to save a log file.
Okay. That sounds like a great idea.
So basically what this does is...
Oh my god, your system's totally infected, dude.
No, it's not.
Look at all of that. You would think. This is why this tool is scary.
This scares the bejesus out of people. So ultimately what I've just done there is I've just collected a whole bunch of technical information from the registry and from that actually tells us things about the browser and about different installation situations in Windows.
Okay.
And so it's also taken all that data and it's dumped it into Notepad.
Good. So now you can copy that, save it, do whatever you need to do.
Right. So this is going to give you all the information you'll need to actually post when you go onto a forum to get some help. And if we roll down here, it's just actually a clone of what we're about to work with inside the tool.
Now this is a lot of information, and a lot of it looks like it's wrong or scary, but don't worry about it so much.
For the most part, it's not. It's not scary. It's just it's not plain English. That's the problem.
Okay.
So
you're going to help me decipher this.
So I'm going to help you decipher this. So first of all, so let's. Do you want the easy way to decipher this?
Is the easy way to decipher it getting your book?
It is! The Absolute Beginner's Guide to Security, Spam, Spyware, and Viruses. And we actually happen to have a copy right here.
Oh, really?
Open on page number 78. So you can hold that there.
How to read... oh, well, now that I have this, I don't need the rest of this episode.
No. And I should tell you that this book, which has been out since 2005, has just been updated, just finished updating it. It's now called... The new title is Windows Lockdown, Your XP and Vista Guide Against Hacks, Attacks, and Other Internet Mayhem.
Well, I don't need this then. I'll wait for the new version.
So they both have it. So if you have Vista, you're going to want the newer one. We're coming out June, July, August, sometime in that time frame, 2008. Okay?
Right.
So let's get started, though, with Hijack This on screen here. We're going to basically go through the different settings.
All right.
So off the top, you're going to see a whole series of... Well, there are settings, right? And our settings are essentially settings that show you how things are set up for the search, the internet search and sort of start and search page, right? So actually, as you go through here, you're going to see, if I go down to R0 down here, it actually shows www.cyberwalker.com. So that is the default homepage that I load when I start up Internet Explorer.
So when you have a browser hijack, it might take you to a different start page or give you a different search default.
That's right.
And that'll all be in this section here?
That'll all be in this section here. Now, R1 is the search function. So there's a default. When you type in and look for something in the search bar in Internet Explorer, it defaults to a particular search page. So that's shown here. This is go.microsoft.com. I haven't changed it from the Microsoft search feature there, right? So you should look at all of those, the R1s and the R0s, just to see if they're the way they should be.
Now, do you know the differentiation between R1 and R0, what those actually mean?
R0 is websites that you've set as your homepage, and R1 are features built into Internet Explorer, like the search page, and there's a couple of other sort of standard default settings that Internet Explorer uses. Okay,
so essentially because these programs they're custom configurable, they give you the ability to change your defaults. It's good for you, but it also means that they can be changed by other parties that aren't as interested in your well-being.
Right, and this is where spyware comes in. This is where hijacker programs, they actually go in and change these settings, right? So in order to actually deal with these and actually get them unprogrammed into something perhaps you don't want, all you're going to do is you're going to select the settings. And then what you're going to do is say fix checked. Now I won't do that here because it'll kill off my, my settings in my system.
Okay, but if you see something that's obviously wrong,
then you're going to check them off, and you're going to say fix checked, and it's going to basically take those settings out of the Windows registry and resolve it for you once and for all. Okay.
So this is actually playing with the registry, which again is a little bit dangerous potentially if you don't know what you're doing.
That's right. That's why you kind of need to geek, or you need to be very, very careful as you do this.
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. There's the warning about to hijack this is don't just go running it and then fixing things, because you might be fixing something that is not.
But it's good.
It's going to fix you good.
You're going to fix you good. Okay. So let's go down the list here to some of the other settings. So if we go down to actually, in this particular case, I've actually listed some F functions. You're not going to see a lot of F functions because that refers to the ini files that used to be on Windows 95, 98, that sort of thing, and it was called auto-loading.
It's like win.ini and
correct.
Those things.
Yeah. So these days, especially in Vista, you won't see that. In XP, you may or may not see the ini files. But if you see those F functions, it means that something's loading out of your WinIni file or something like that.
So potentially, if you're dual booting, your boot.ini file might show up in here.
Good.
If it's messed with.
If it's been messed with, absolutely. Okay. All right. So going down now, now of course this doesn't just deal with Internet Explorer, it also deals with Firefox as well.
Okay.
So there's a whole series of Netscape and Mozilla settings in there, and they're N settings. So N1, N1, 2, 3. And let's see if we can find some down here. I think they're mostly O. It may not show up. Yeah, I don't think this one has any N settings. But again, that would be settings that have been forced by Firefox, and especially older versions of Firefox. Okay, again, check that. Like, have a look at the line. What URL am I being sent to? If there are some browser hijackers that will actually hijack Firefox as well. They're rare, more rare, but they actually do exist.
Yeah, Firefox has generally been better than Internet Explorer before Internet Explorer 7, but at the end they sort of let their guard down a little bit, and there was some real nasty stuff happening to Firefox as well, which is unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. The next one is a host file. Now, host file is actually a text file sitting on your computer that actually does redirects of. It's a holdover from the networks in the olden days, as it were, right? So you type in a URL into your web browser, and it checks the host file first and says, should I do something unique with this before I send it off to the internet?
Yeah. Now, this could be set up by a corporate network administrator who wants you to be redirected to something else instead of to a site that's out there on the internet.
Right.
They may not want you to get to google.com because google.com is the evil competition. We want to send you over to Alta Vista.
Right.
So they'll redirect you somewhere else when you try to go to that.
But it's a really good trick used by spyware writers to actually redirect you to the place that they want you to go to basically a website where they're going to make some money off of you when you click something.
So something with a legitimate purpose that's been sullied by the evildoers. Yet again.
Yet again. So that's 01. And in this particular case, you'll see hosts is showing localhost. So that's fine. Everything's fine and dandy there. You see anything weird like, sexforhorses.com or something weird like that, then obviously there's an issue. And that's actually common sense is a good idea here. So if you see something that looks like it's a weird URL with some rudeness in it or something along those lines, it's probably an infection of some sort.
Especially if it's something that you go to regularly like google.com or ebay.com and it's saying redirect to this other thing, especially if it's just a raw IP address, because they might be sending you to something that looks like eBay that's not eBay.
That's not eBay too, yeah. Very good point, actually. Now, one of my favorite settings here, and where you're probably going to find the most infections, is in the O2 settings. And you'll notice here it says O2-BHO.
Browser Helper Objects.
Browser Helper Objects.
I read that right here in the Absolute Beginner's Guide to Security, Spam, Spywares, and Browser Helper Objects.
So Browser Helper Object is basically a piece of software that has actually been injected inside of your Internet Explorer browser and is doing something funky.
Like Super Fantastic Awesome Bar.
Right, exactly. My search bar, or a very common method, especially a few years ago, for infecting a machine, a browser, and forcing you to do certain evil things with your browser. So,
do Smileys do this to you too?
You know what? I think that Smileys does. I think it does.
So there you go. If I recall correctly, these things use something called hooks into your browser. That's what they call it. I never knew what it meant except hook.
Kind of goes.
Yeah.
And makes you do bad things.
What are we doing in this episode again?
So browser helper objects. Now, in this particular case here, as you can see, there's actually some legitimate helper objects in there. There's an Adobe PDF reader link. There's
legitimate.
A Skype add-on.
Legitimate.
Spybot search and destroy protection.
Legitimate.
SSV helper class.
Well, who knows?
It's actually a Java thingy. It's a Java enhancement for Internet Explorer. And Windows Live Sign-In, which is your MSN Messenger.
That's got to go.
Anyway, so you'll see a bunch of legitimate stuff in there. So leave the stuff you want to keep, get rid of the stuff that looks really suspect.
Yeah, if you don't recall, installing super fantastic awesome bar, then this is the place to get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I could go through a whole bunch of the other things. I mean, there's O3s, O4s. What is the O3? It's the IE toolbars.
So auto-loading programs from registry or startup. That's kind of dangerous.
Stuff like that. But those are going to sort of fundamentally solve the key spyware issues you're going to run into in your in Internet Explorer and a browser hijackers. Okay.
Yeah, and don't just go deleting these. It might bear some Google search to find out what exactly these things are before you start deleting things or fixing them.
That's right. Very good. One thing I do want to mention: if you do choose just to run the log, what you're going to do is want to keep that log in a notepad, save it in a safe place, and head on over to, there's a really great website called Spyware Info at spywareinfo.com, and there are actually forums on there, and there's entire sections devoted to where you can post your browser, your HijackThis logs, and get help from geeks out there on the internet who are happy to help you demystify that.
Can I suggest that if you are having a lot of troubles with your system after you run HijackThis, save that log to a USB key or something like that, so that if your system does crash hard, that you still have access to that information. And it wouldn't hurt necessarily to do little snapshots of your system using HijackThis every so often, even when things are right, just so you know what's normal for your system. And just, this is what it looked like on May 1st. This is what it looks like now. What's different?
Right. Very good. Sort of like a... We apologize about the cat ass again. All right. So, and just a final tip before we go to break.
I think we can use HijackThis to get rid of the biff buttocks.
Biff buttocks, yeah. A final little tip here, and that is that if this sort of bemuses you or makes you afraid or whatever, just get that there are lots of people out there who are willing to help you. And, when I first had to write that book, I didn't really know how to use HijackThis, and I just started asking a bunch of people. And you kind of learn along the way. So, go to the forums, ask your geek friends and that sort of thing. There are people out there that actually know the stuff inside and out. And you're not going to know it like that, and it's going to maybe be a little bit scary off the top. But stay with it, because that's the way you learn, right?
Yep.
All right.
It's true.
So that's how you learned everything, right? You
That's
hung around
how
me.
I hung around him, and then I ignored everything he said.
Bye, Vista. Max suck. All right, well, let's take a break, and when we come back, do we have pictures?
We got pictures.
We got pictures. All right, so when we come back, picture time.
Picture time.
But first, a message from our sponsor. So, a bit of a daunting topic, I think, don't you think?
A little bit.
Yeah, but we did promise, to sort of do some more advanced stuff with you guys sometimes. A, it challenges you, and B, people need the information. The super geeks want the information too. So.
Yeah, and I mean, HijackThis is something that everybody can use, whether you can understand it or not. Just understanding how to run the program is useful, I think.
It's useful, absolutely. Good. All right, picture time.
Picture time.
Picture time.
We have some pictures. So you're talking about HijackThis coming from the sands of history.
Yes.
And we got a little nod to the sands of history as well here.
Oh, fun. Oh,
our
cats.
Our viewer Ivan has these two cats. One of them is named Anarchy. That's the one on the right, the one with the white and black head.
It's evil.
Yeah, maybe a little. I don't know.
Slightly evil.
The other one that looks like it's in a guillotine there is actually named ICQ, after the old program from Mirabilis.
No kidding, wow. ICQ.
Yeah. I still use ICQ every so often. I've actually got like a number so old that it's 6 digits, and I guess those ones were going for hundreds of dollars at some point on eBay, when people actually still cared about ICQ.
Wow.
Not too many people are using it anymore.
Some like a membership. A number was it? 626.
Yeah, your membership number.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so mine was, it was in the
you're
700,000s,
such a
but
geek. Oh man.
there you go. So there we go. Blast from the past. I still use it occasionally, but not that much.
Very good.
This cat looks like it's still a going concern, though, so there you go.
You ain't going nowhere.
Ain't going nowhere.
Very good. All right.
So this
Yes.
is Bob Goman.
Bob Goman.
Now, Bob has sent pictures of his cats before.
Yes.
He sent one cat, and then he sent another cat.
Yes,
And we
he did.
said to Bob, send a
Come on,
picture of
Bob.
yourself.
Right.
You may have remembered that episode where we did that.
Yes.
Where we begged him to send that. This is him. This is Bob.
Yay, Bob! Good job. It
And-
looks like he's photoshopped the background out though.
Maybe
Either that, or it's
either that he's
taken in the middle of the night.
Yeah, or it's standing in front of a black hole or
He has
something. I
Sean
don't
hair
know.
too.
Does kind of have Sean
Kind of
hair.
has Sean hair.
Yeah. Well, one other thing about Bob is that he actually runs this site called dirtpit.tv.
Ooh.
All about racetracks and big cars and swimsuit models.
Cute girls in bikinis.
Yeah.
Good job.
Hey, dirtbags, you found dirtpit.tv. Why don't we call our viewers dirtbags? Probably because
Nice.
we want to keep them.
Yes. Good
Anyways,
job.
so let's go back over to our slideshow. So
Excellent
there's
work.
Bob again. Thank you,
Excellent work,
thank you
Bob.
for sending that, Bob.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great.
And this is another blast from the past. You may remember one of our other viewers sent a picture of their dogs Buck and Pocono, and we had a little bit of a discussion over how to pronounce Pocono.
Yes.
This is Pocono reacting to something I said about Windows Vista. And Pocono's like, what did Sean say about Windows Vista again?
Vista's good.
Nothing. Vista's perfectly fine.
I love you guys out there in Labrad's land. I do. Awesome. Love it.
I love Vista. I really do.
All right, good job. Thank you for that. That's hilarious. Very good.
There we go. Can I stop loving Vista again now that the big angry dog is off the screen?
You can get your body parts chewed off. All right. Well, that was a lovely episode. It was a lovely picture time. Thank you so much for sending your pictures in this week, or this month, or whenever you send them. Are we ahead or behind?
Well, we're now showing pictures from the future, so they haven't even been sent yet.
Right. Very good. Very good. Okay.
No, we're always running a little bit behind because of the way we tape the show. So if you haven't seen your photograph yet, it's coming. Just hold patient. If you really think we've forgotten it, it's been like a year, then maybe give us a
Resend it
little
again.
poke, resend it, and just say, hey guys. If it's just been a few weeks at this point, just come.
Hey, Sean's back here in Toronto now, so we don't have to commute back and forth across the country anymore. We're permanently in Toronto.
Yeah, we did have a bit of a picture pile up there for a while when we were sort of spreading these things out because we did them once every month or 2 months. So, so it's a quicker turnaround time now.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for sending your pictures in, for downloading. If you want to find out more about who we are and what we do, you can go to
Google?
labrats.tv. If you'd like to participate in our forums, you can go to...
Our Wikipedia entry, which doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't, does it? cyberwalker.com/forums. And...
Why don't we have a Wikipedia entry?
Maybe we do. I don't know. I've never checked.
We did. Someone deleted it.
Oh well.
I think we deserve a Wikipedia entry.
We're famous now. We are.
We're famous enough.
Famous enough. Okay. Well, that's it for us. Thank you for downloading this week. We love you. We think you're fabulous. And keep sending those emails and those pictures and everything like that. I'm Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers. I'm just playing with Biff's toe over here.
And this is Biff's Toe over here. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Are you